Teresa Weiler frantically scanned through the social service notes on her birth parents and felt her heart lurch. Having spent 20 years of her life not knowing the truth about who her real mom and dad were, she stared at the words in horrified disbelief. Her mother and father were named as sister and brother. Until then, all she knew about her past was that she had been abandoned at birth by her mother and then spent 3 years in an orphanage before being adopted. Now, 30 years later, Teresa, 52, speaks openly about the medical and emotional problems that have plagued her throughout her adult life because of her birth parents. A painful reminder that she was the result of an incestuous, illegal relationship came last week when the son told how a father and his daughter are having a baby and happily looking forward to bringing up their child. The pair, who met for the first time last year when daughter Penny traced her estranged father, spoke openly about their love and blamed their desire for each other on the psychological condition genetic sexual attraction or GSA. But it was not only their relationship that enraged Sun readers, it was their decision to have a baby. Even though their child could be born with mental or physical disabilities, 6 weeks pregnant Penny said she would terminate the fetus if scans showed a problem. Today, angry Teresa warns the couple that heartache and possible physical problems lie ahead for them. She has been plagued by poor health and decided to be childless for fear she could pass on a genetic defect. She says, reading Gary and Penny's story, I was furious with their decision to bring a child into their relationship. As two consenting adults, it is my opinion they can do as they wish. But to decide to have a child is irresponsible and selfish. I know the pain, as I was the child of an incestuous relationship. This child will undoubtedly find out the secret about Penny and Gary's relationship as they have spoken so brazenly about it in public. It will be very confusing and mentally damaging for that child. And physically, it could ruin their life. Teresa, a manager at a children's home, was left in hospital by her birth mother and spent her first 3 years in an orphanage in Brentwood, Essex. From there, she was adopted by Terence and Truda Weiler and enjoyed a happy, loving childhood with 2 older brothers and a younger sister. Finding this out hit me hard. The idea I was the child of incest made me feel dirty. She says, I grew up loving all sport and played hockey at county level. But when I was 17 my right kneecap was shattered during a match and I had to have an operation. This surgery triggered osteoarthritis for which I have gone on to have more than 20 operations. It ruined my dreams of becoming a sports player. I still take painkillers every day and will soon have to undergo a knee replacement operation. When she was first diagnosed with osteoarthritis in her late teens, Teresa started to think about her genetic makeup and the medical history of her birth parents. This curiosity and desire to know more led her to contact social services in her mid-20s. They were able to find the notes that were written when she was born. Teresa recalls, my heart was pounding as I read the details of the parents who had decided to leave me at the hospital. Social services had written that my mother was a 16-year-old unmarried waitress from Belfast. They named my father as her 14-year-old brother. I felt physically sick by what I read. Staring in disbelief at the notes, it was like I was trapped in a nightmare. The realization that my parents were blood relatives, siblings, was shameful. I told no one about my discovery for more than 20 years. As I grew up in a strict Catholic family, the discovery about my parents hit me very hard. The idea I was the child of incest made me feel sick and dirty. It was incredibly difficult to get my head around. I had to deal with initial horrified shock, which then turned to anger and bitterness towards the mother who abandoned me. We met. She was with a man. They looked alike and I looked like both of them. However, Teresa still wanted to meet her birth mom and the social services arranged a meeting for her. She says, she was keen to meet me and although I knew it would not be a happy reunion, I felt the need to face her. It was a shock to see my birth mother and she was with a man who she introduced as her friend. They looked alike and I looked like both of them. To this day I believe it was her brother, my father. Teresa was full of questions for her mom, but didn't ask about her father. She says, I was very angry towards her and demanded to know how she could have abandoned me at the hospital. She claimed she'd done it for my benefit and asked if we could meet another time. Our meeting only lasted 20 minutes and she left me with a phone number to call her so we could meet again. I tried. When you think about your family, what are the words that first come to mind? Some words might include love, home, childhood, and happiness, though we all have families that are unique and special in their own way. For most of us, family means everything to us. From our moms and dads, to our brothers and sisters, where would we be without our family members? And if you are lucky, then you have grandparents or grandchildren. There are also aunts, uncles, and cousins. The most important foundation that you can have is family. While we all have different kinds of families, it is hard to argue that our families play a big role in our lives. Your family can help you learn how to be a good and successful person. Different members of our families will teach us things that will become valuable life lessons. Family quotes can be used for a wide number of purposes. You can use these quotes on social media, or you can write them in greeting cards to your loved ones. If you like to fill the walls in your home with art, you can print out some of these quotes or sayings, frame them, and hang them up on your wall. This idea works especially well in a family room like a dining room, living room, or kitchen, where the space is frequented and shared by all members of the family. Why use family quotes? A good family quote can be a nice reminder of what families are about and what they meant to us. In this article, you will find many family quotes and sayings, as well as quotes for different members of your family. Each person plays their own special role within their family. Without one person, the family would just not be the same. Our parents are the first family we know, and if we are lucky, they are around for a long time. Your parents are your first teachers as well as your first family. When we are children, our mothers are our nurturers and our dads are our heroes. If you are lucky enough to have brothers or sisters, then you know that your siblings are the first friends that you make in life. Our cousins, who are sometimes like brothers and sisters to us, are some of our first friends as well. You might have an aunt that is like a second mother to you, and an uncle that you really look up to. And you can't forget about your grandparents. Those who are lucky to have children might even have grandchildren as well. While you love your children, there is a certain joy that can only be found in a grandchild. Let your grandchildren know how much you appreciate them with a nice family quote. These family quotes below can remind both you and your family members what makes your family special. Such quotes can also help you remember why you are grateful to have the family that you have. No matter what the occasion, don't forget to let your family members know how much they mean to you whenever you get the chance. Goodbye. Please my channel, like, comment, subscribe. Runa hack.